Yo, sent from Sean Shaw. Last year says 1,000 mile journey begins with one single step. And which, for some odd reason, I saw Cowboy Bebop, at least the first episode, live action, and all I could think was, this ain't Bebop. This ain't Bebop. John Cho didn't do a bad job. Jeb Light didn't do a bad job. That chick who played Faye was awful. I was like, oh god, I hate this chick. It's like just her whole attitude. Demeanor was like, why'd you do this to Faye? Faye's not like that. But my thing is this: it's like I am very tired of modern day Hollywood taking original ideas from the past and then rebranding them with their ideas in them. It's like the only reason anyone went to go see Cowboy Bebop was because, well, it said Cowboy Bebop. People love Cowboy Bebop. It means a lot to everyone. And so, what do these writers do? We're going to take the name Bebop, we're going to take certain elements of Bebop, and we're just going to put our own story in it. It's like, what the hell are you people doing? Nobody wants to see your political message in our media. That's so boring. Not everyone thinks like you. Not everyone has to think like you, but for some odd reason, we keep getting these Hollywood movies that have to preach to us about, oh, life's not fair. Racism is this. Sexism is this. Oh, this exists. It's like, God damn it, we fucking know this shit. If you don't know this shit, have you been living under a rock? Have you been living under a rock? Just give me a call if you've been living under a rock, because, like, goddamn, wake the fuck up on this one. Like, damn, dude, nobody wants to see that fucking. Nobody wants to see a bunch of whine, crying, and bitching and moaning about how hard your past was. We watch these shows to be entertained. And if you watch the original Cowboy Bebop, you'll understand why. Speaking of that, instead of like finishing that crappy ass show, I'd rather just talk about like 5 episodes, just five simple episodes that were like, yo, this is why we love the show. Starting out with Ballad of Fallen Angels. Obviously, that's gonna make anyone's top 5 episode list because that's the episode where we got to see so much about Spike and Julia and Vicious. It was like, wow. Speaking of which, I didn't get to the Vicious character, but I think I dodged a bullet on that one. From what I've seen in interviews, I think I dodged a bullet because, like, that, oh god. But just the whole episode was just Spike dealing with this past, in which you don't really get much, like, you don't get a lot of dialogue telling you the story, you get a lot of flashes. And that's one beautiful thing about Bebop. Just like it tells you the story, not conventionally, but through visually. And that's why the medium of art and cartoons and, like, film, that's why they exist, because some messages need to be seen visually. Another episode off the top of my head would be I liked Mushroom Samba, one where they were all starving on the ship, and it was like we have no food, and then they run into these people who are trying to sell mushrooms on the black market, and then they finally like Ed's doing all this running around. It's just Ed's doing a lot of chasing around. I'm pretty sure that was the episode where dude walked around with that coffin. I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm just going off the top of my head. Like dude walked around with that coffin, and then was another chick like they were all after these mushrooms and whatnot, and Ed ended up back at the ship with the mushrooms. And at the very beginning, it started out like we're all hungry, we don't have anything to eat. By the end of this episode, they all have something to eat. Just watch that. Another great episode off the top of my head would be Wild Horses, when Spike got his ship repaired by that old guy. Like we found out a lot about the ship and like how it used to be a speed running ship, and it was like just like a racing ship, and it's older than most other ships. You would think that this beautiful sleek looking ship is about the best advanced technology. It's like no, it's pretty old. It just looks very nice. It's pretty old, and it takes a lot of work to go into it. That's really an episode for people who are mechanics and gearheads. They would very much love that episode. Wild Horses just it's just very nice to see like the crew of Bebop have fun. That's one thing that the anime did well. It had fun. Sure, it had a like. It wasn't an action comedy. It had like a monotone feeling at times, but that's because it needed to have that. Because it was in the phrase of that noir, baby, that jazz groove, baby. You feel me? You know that old shit. If you watching, if you know anything about old medium, you know Sin City style. Another one, just thinking off the top of my head, obviously the Le Flou, like that one with the French guy. And surprisingly, I didn't like. I enjoyed that one because it was a challenge for like seeing Spike fight that guy, but mainly to see what the man went through was more of a beautiful poetic episode to me. To see how like they trained him to be that killer. How like every time he saw a cat, he'd freak out, and just like that whole little visualization, which that's one thing that the anime of Cowboy Bebop had going for the visuals, the way it told the story, not by words but by visuals. It was just like that's just very amazing to me. Just that whole little sequence to see him exercise, to see him train to become a killer, and which anyone who sees his face, they never live to see the end. I just love that episode. I want to do two more because like I like I know I said five, but I'm thinking of the episode when Faye got introduced, in which I'm mad they didn't do this in the series. They really would have benefited from it. When Faye first got introduced in the casino and how Spike was supposed to give her a chip and she got the wrong guy. That's just I just love the casino. Faye's introduction, it was like she's a gambling woman. She has so much debt, and we like, who is this chick? And she's just so like she has this like smugness about her, of, like like I know I'm gonna get away. Faye was just amazing in the show. I'd have to say like I have a lot of faith. Like I can't get into like hard luck women. That one's a rough one. That's a rough one. But if I had to say just fun episodes, the Space Cowboy, the one where they had that guy running around the space like in a cowboy outfit, and they were trying to catch the teddy bomber. That is just funny as hell. Like Cowboy Bebop is an amazing fun piece of anime. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you don't know what you're missing. You should check it out. It's just like the blending, like that's just the blending of East, West, and film noir. Everyone should watch Cowboy Bebop. So check it out. And millennial writers, they really need to shut the fuck up because really nobody gives a shit what you have to say. No one cares about your pain. No one cares about your hardship. Because everyone has it. God, like you guys need to really start thinking like the Backstreet Boys. I can't believe I have to say this to people, but you need to start thinking like the Backstreet Boys. I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you did. As long as you don't smoke crack, Jesus Christ, is that just if they smoke crack, then you can have hostility towards them. Jesus, I don't know why we're having this conversation. Everyone's like, oh, we gotta solve racism. They did that 20 years ago, and you guys are just keeping it alive for money. We gotta solve the sexism problem. We did that about 10 years ago. You guys are just keeping this problem alive. You know, when we meet someone who's transgender, we typically treat them how they want to be treated. And if you don't, then you get called an asshole. But I just find it so frustrating how they take our art medium and they're trying to force these dumbass ideas into us as if we don't know how to treat transgender people, as if we don't know how to treat gay people. And which really doing this is going to make us look at transgender people like you're other and look at gay people like you're other or like you're prissy. People aren't like that. And stop using IPs. In fact, Netflix, I don't even watch One Piece. I don't like One Piece. I think One Piece is a piece of shit. Not the writing mainly hit the fan base. But I can tell you this. They don't want to see a live action One Piece. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to Yu Yu Hakusho. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop the live action. Come up with the new original content. Fortunately for you, I just finished my second book called Song of the Shaman. Let me type that up. Get at me. Wildcards are still needed.